Torah Or, Parshas Vayechi, page Mem Hey. Okay, the pasuk says, Yehuda to Yeducha Achecha. Because when Yaakov Avinu was blessing the children, so he says in Yehuda, why was Yehuda called Yehuda al Shem Apam Eida? Because now we'll thank Hashem for B'chinas Eidah. This is the thanking. Shebachlos Nishamas Yisrael, which refers to all of the Yidden when they say Meidem Anachnu Loch. We're thanking you. Vanachnu Keidem Mishtachvim Meidem. So Meidem has Yehuda has two meanings really. It means thanking, Modem Anachnu Loch, and Odo also means submission, Bittul. Ala Shalamat, Alafishu Tachas Azman. But so why does it say, when Leah named him, she said, Hapam, that now I'm going to thank Hashem. Why it's now? Because down here, which is under the jurisdiction of time, it's called Hapam Eida, Shalai Kol Eidim Shavis. Not all times are equal. Sometimes it's hard to thank Hashem, sometimes it's hard to be submissive to Hashem. Which is L'mayla min azman. Then it's called Yehuda. Why is it called Yehuda? Because Yud made alay ha'heva. Yud refers to the continuously k'mei kocha yaseiv. In other words, like this. Now, this world is limited in time and place. So now there is thank you, if we die, there's no thank you. It's all dependent on time and place. But Yehuda represents to the level of L'mayla, because the letter Yud before a word is brought down in Diktuk, but it's brought down in Chassidus a lot. Kocha Ya'aseiv, the word Yud, the letter Yud, can mean two things. It mean future tense, or it can mean constantly.
The Yud itself?
The letter Yud as a prefix, as the letter before the word, it can mean either future, or it can mean continuously. Like you say, Yiskadal v'Yiskadash, the Yud over there means, not we will praise Hashem, we constantly praise Hashem. So he says, therefore it says the letter Yud, v'Pirish Hamila, meaning, K'mayay de B'Teisus Hey. And then it will be Yehuda with an additional Hey, nicht of Yehuda, 1 second. Vayechi Pirish Hamila K'mayay de B'Teisus Hey Yehuda. Nicht of Yehuda B'Segel Tachas Adalit. Over there in Nehemiah, it says Yehuda. What does that mean? What does it mean now? After the revelation of Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, which are determined the causes, mean like this. The pasuk says, Leah had Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. Then she had Yehuda. By Yehuda she said, Hapam Eidas Hashem. Now, this time, meaning the fourth time, meaning after there's Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, now I can come to the level of Yehuda. In other words, in the Avodah, in order to come to the level of Yehuda, which is bittul and thanking and all that, first you need the Avodah of Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, and then you can come to Yehuda. What? It's a process. What is the level of Reuven? She called Reuven, Leah called him Reuven from two words, Reuven, seeing the sun. That's the level of Re'iyah. And Re'iyah is this seeing, he goremes hamshachas b'chinas ohava. Re'iyah causes the level of ahava. And he says, why? K'mesher kosev p'nei aryeh ela yamin. And the Merkava of Hashem says, the four animals, yeah? So the lion, the pasuk says, ela yamin, was on the right. Now right represents chesed, ahava. Aryeh is the same letters as Re'iyah, seeing. So the level of Re'iyah, like the pasuk said, Pnei Aryeh Ela Yamin, represents that the level of seeing stimulates Ahava. So the first child, Reuven, represents the level of Ava. The same thing, Reuven's Machane was Teimana south, but Teimana comes to the word Yamin. Teimana is Yamin. Ke'inyan Re'iyah is iskarvis that a chiba. Re'iyah, when you see something, it's diskarvis that a chiba. Like the pasuk says, Kivekayda b'te'ena, like the ripening of the fig. Reishit roya v'seichem, and that's what it says, Ra Hashem. In other words, like this, when you see somebody, it awakens a much greater level of Av. If you love them, it awakens a much greater level of Av than you hear from them. Seeing stimulates a feeling of Av. And like he says, Ki ate yavani ishi, now my husband's going to love me. So that's the name Reuven, right? Now again, like we learned a million times, in Torah, everything is a lesson for everybody. So you have a uniqueness of the Aves, Avram, Yitzchok, and Yaakov. That means that because they're Aves, so we're Banim, we're the children. Children inherit the parents. So every single Jew has a level of Avram, Yitzchok, and Yaakov in them. They're the Aves. But Reuven, Shimon, Levi, the 12 Shvatim, are not called Aves. They're called individual Aveda. That means the people that were born by Hashem into the tribe of Reuven, their Aveda primarily is Re'iyah. Shimon is explained later on in the Maimer. Shimon is their Aveda, the level of Shmiya and Leviah and Hidah, all the various different levels of the Shvatim. So any person that was born into a particular Shevet had a shaykhs to the Aveda of that particular Shevet. Nevertheless, when the Torah speaks about, now that we don't have, so to speak, especially now when we don't have the Shvatim. So when the Torah says about Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, that means in a certain respect, every Jew has the Aveda of Reuven within them, and Shimon within them, and Levi within them, and Yehuda within them, and so on. That means every single Jew, like he says, Inyan am shachazu b'knesses Yisrael. So what's the Aveda of Reuven by a Yid? Number one means Re'iyah. What do we sing? Is Takala b'yikara d'malka. To look. Takala means a strong looking. B'yikara d'malka, in the greatness of Hashem, le'eder so'ava. To awaken the love, like again, intellectual stimulation. That's why intellect has to do with seeing, but it's a deeper intellect and understanding. You have Chochmah and Bina. You have Reuven and Shimon. Right? Seeing, when you look at something, you immediately don't see all the details. You look at the whole thing. Then you break it down into details. Listening is automatically details. So Re'iyah is the level of Chochmah, but it's all Seichel. Reuven is Chochmah, Shimon is Bina. Daber ki shemei avdecha, the pasuk says, speak because I'm listening. Doesn't mean I'm listening. I understand. Right? I understand what it is. So there's a Aveda Bayid of seeing, and there's an Aveda of Shmiya. Now that Rabbi is explaining Re'iyah. Re'iyah means looking, like when somebody understands something very well, they say, oh, I see. What do you mean you see? You don't see. You understand it. What are you saying you see? Because there's a level of seeing, as the expression in English goes, seeing is believing. Like we learned many times, Dr. Rebbe is going to explain it here also. If I see this here, if I see it, you could bring me a million proofs it's not there, I'm not going to change my opinion. Because I saw it. But if I understand something, you can show me that I don't understand it. You can make me crazy, right? Asking questions, you don't understand it. Re'iyah, when I see something, you can bring me a million proofs that it's not there, but I saw it. Right? So therefore, what is the Re'iyah in Avedas Hashem? The level of meditating into the greatness of Hashem in such a way, it's like you saw it. And this Re'iyah Like it says, Aryeh Yamin, Aryeh is on the right side, means Re'iyah stimulates the level of Ava of the Jew. Now, Veda, what do you want?
Between all Shvatim, we're all tzaddikim.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand that Yosef, a tzaddik, he was in his time, he was a Rebbe, all of that. But how come only Yosef?
He was Rebbe in Mitzrayim,
What?
not Eretz Yisrael.
No, in his time. How come he gets Yitzhak? How come he's only the only link and not the other Shvatim?
Linked to what?
He's like one of the album.
Yaakov Yosef is Yesod.
Right. How
No.
come only Yosef is Yitzhak? How come not the other tzaddikim? Not the other.
Why is he like one of the
How come?
The other Shvatim at different levels.
You fake the shayla.
Yehuda is Mashiach.
It's Benimius in them.
In Moshe Rabbeinu's time. Yeah? There's a guy called Moshe Rabbeinu, remember him? Okay.
I think so.
There are a lot of tzaddikim in his time. There's a guy called Aaron HaKohen, there was Nadav and Avihu, and there is Yeshua and Kaleb ben Yefuneh and the 12 Nesiim, amongst many Shivim Skenim, many tzaddikim. Yeah? How many Moshe Rabbeinus were there?
One in every generation.
Okay, so there was one Moshe Rabbeinu with 1,000 other tzaddikim. Yeah? So why Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu's level was Moshe Rabbeinu, the mamutza between, the intermediary between Hashem and the Jews. That doesn't negate that there are other tzaddikim. There's a chassid of the Alter Rebbe that once went to another Rebbe. Stam, whatever though. I think the Alter Rebbe sent, whatever. So he came back, so the chassidim asked him, no. So he said it in Russian. Basically he says, he's a master but not mine. He's a master, he's a tzaddik, but not mine. He's not my Rebbe. There were great chassidim, when the Alter Rebbe passed away, there were great chassidim that couldn't become chassidim of the Mittler Rebbe. When the Mittler Rebbe passed away, they couldn't become chassidim right away of the Tzemach Tzedek. It took years. And one of them said, I already gave away my Yechidah Shebnefesh to the Alter Rebbe, so how can I become a chassid? What is it? Like, change clothes? Change Rebbes? This one goes, okay, next guy, you change Rebbe. These people are devoted soul to soul, essence to essence. The Rebbe writes, there's a Maimish Tatchus of the Mittler Rebbe about when you visit Kivrei Tzadikim. Yeah? It says that there's 5 levels of when you visit the cave of a tzaddik. There's the connection of nefesh and ruach and neshama chayichida. It says the ultimate level of connection to the chassid, to the Rebbe, is like the gilu of Yechidah Shebenefesh, which is infinitely greater than gilu Eliyahu. Okay? We're not talking like you go to Rahel, hi Rebbe, how you doing? Okay, goodbye. You say a few words over there and you leave. That's a joke. Talking tzaddikim is a different Aveda. There were many tzaddikim in Moshe Rabbeinu's time. There were many tzaddikim in Yosef's time. Every tzaddik had their Aveda that they did. And then there's a neshama kloli. And the Rebbe explains in the Sikh, in the Middot, yeah? So the man came in the schus of Moshe. The well came in the schus of Miriam. The cloud came in the schus of Aaron HaKohen. Yeah? So after they died, after Miriam died, there was no more water. So Hashem told him to speak, but he hit and he got water. So whose schus did the water come back in? The Moshe Rabbeinu. The Anani Yaakov stopped when Moshe Aaron. It came back in the schus of Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Rebbe explains in the Sikha that there's Aveda Moshe, there's Aveda Miriam, there's Aveda Aaron. But when they're not around, it's all Moshe Rabbeinu again. There's one Moshe Rabbeinu. But it doesn't negate other tzaddikim. Why Yosef is the hashpah of Yesod? Because that was his Aveda. There's an neshama klali. Then you have great tzaddikim. Then neshama is brought in this particular thing. That's tzaddikim. Moshe Rabbeinu being Daber Echad, as Rashi says in Chumash, when he was pointing Yeshua at the end of Chumash over there. So he says, tell Makal, hal kat kodom, take a stick and hit him, Moshe, he said to Moshe, to Yeshua, take a stick, hit him over the head, and let them know, Daber Echad Lador V'Leishnei Dabar. There's one Rebbe in a generation. Rashi says it's in Chumash. There's one Rebbe per generation, not two. That doesn't negate the other tzaddikim that existed in Moshe Rabbeinu's time. The Alter Rebbe was the Rebbe, okay, but there are a lot of great tzaddikim. The Talmidei Maggid were very great tzaddikim, not Beinim of Tanya, tzaddikim. Okay, even the Chassidim said that Reb Shmuel Munkes, the jester of the Alter Rebbe, with all his thing, he was a tzaddik of Tanya. Not a Beinani of Tanya, he was a tzaddik of Tanya. But he was only a chassid, not a Rebbe. Reb Hillel Paritcher, there was the other chassidim, Reb Pesach Malachowski or whatever. He said he was a greater chassid than Reb Hillel Paritcher. Why? Because Reb Hillel Paritcher was half Rebbe. And this chassid was a chassid. He was a greater chassid than Reb Hillel because Reb Hillel was half Rebbe. Was Reb Hillel a Rebbe? No.
Is Reuben a positive character or negative character?
What?
Reuben.
Reuben is all positive. All good, positive.
All we read about him